And we live. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It's not going to happen, but that's okay. I'm going to live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. I'll say what's up to her.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome in. I will be off camera because I am working right now, but I'm happy to be here. I hope y'all like, share, and subscribe. These colorless women are funny. I love it.
They are funny, the dramatics, the sexual content. I love it all. They know how to have fun. And one thing I will say about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, they know how to do a trip. They know how to do the trip. The food is always right. The trips are always right. I love all the time when Salt Lake City goes somewhere because when you look at Atlanta, when you look at Potomac, when you look at all the other shows, when they go on vacation, there's always something lacking. I liked how the Salt Lake City's women always bring it. They actually showed me what a curator was. I didn't even know what that was until they brought it onto the show. So I'm happy to see that. Hey, Kevin Reynolds, thank you for being here. We appreciate you so much. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. So this is one thing that Bravo is doing is putting through a cash trip in the beginning of the season, as well as the huge cash trip that we'll see towards the middle to end of the season. I love when they do that because it shows, promotion in other places that I aspire to go to. Now, Below Deck, I do not watch the show, you guys. I have to be 100% honest with you guys. I do not know the show. I don't know the concept of the show. It's not been something I ever really was all that interested in watching. However, I will say it is something that I do want to experience, if that makes sense. I want to experience the being a guest on that kind of environment. I do, but I don't want to do it during the hurricane season and the tropical storm stuff. I don't want to do it how I've seen some of the commercials appeal to that. I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it when it's sunny, beautiful, chefs, all of that. So Heather is planning a trip because she's close with the captain, who's Captain Jason, I believe that's his name. Y'all, if I get his name wrong, I'm sorry because I want to call him Curtis for whatever reason. I know that's not his name. Captain Jason is what I'm going with, and hopefully I am correct. So she has organized this trip for all the ladies to come. So the ladies are all arriving to the airport with the exception of Bronwyn. Now, Heather doesn't know if Bronwyn is coming on the trip or not. She just left the space open for her. So they get there, they get to where the I think it's called Kanahun. I think that's what the island is called. Beautiful place. That is on my list for sure. Every time I watch a Housewives franchise, my list gets longer and longer and longer. And y'all, I'm not a millionaire yet. I'm almost there. I'm not a millionaire yet. So that is definitely on my list of places I need to go visit. What you saying, Kevin? No. Brittany displayed a bona fide thought vibes further with everyone with the A plan. Kevin Reynolds. I actually wasn't mad at her. I actually was not mad at Brittany. I'm sorry, y'all. I could be on the island alone. I actually was not mad at Brittany for this. And it wasn't just Brittany, too. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. It wasn't just Brittany that was flirting and trying to make her presence known, circulating through all those men on the boat. Or on the yacht, I should say, on the yacht. It wasn't just Brittany. So, and it wasn't just Heather either. Because I was going to say, yeah, Heather too, but it wasn't Heather either. So the ladies get there and they're greeted by all of the ship crew and including Captain Jason. And Heather hugs them because she and Whitney had already had their experience. And, from that, she have become friends with the captain. So we're actually pretty good. It was Angie for me that was going around hugging everybody, saying, "Oh my God, look at your muscles," and "Oh my God, look at your beard." And I said, Angie be telling on herself without telling on herself, because this is the second time I see Angie pull some suspect shit. Y'all go back and watch a video. I actually snapshot when Angie wrapped her legs around that man's torso on that last trip they went to last season. Y'all go back and watch that because I said, Angie, you doing suspect shit. I'm watching you. I'm not saying that Angie is cheating, y'all. I'm not trying to put all that out there. I just noticed Angie do a lot of touchy feely, kind of borderline inappropriate shit when it comes to her going on these vacations with these women. So I just want y'all to peep that. Would you say, Kevin Reynolds? I see you blowing up the chat here. Why? Because the men were handsome. This is shallow as hell. I'm just saying. No, it's not so much that it's they create these shows with the idea of like a little flirtatious here and there, a little guy vibe. And Brittany is single, so I don't really find it too much wrong with it if it's all in good fun. Now, has she led them to the bedroom and put the do not disturb sign on the door? Then we got a whole other problem here because I would like her to be a little bit more professional. But as I said, I was not mad with her flirting here and there. I was not mad at that. I just wasn't. Um, Angie was incredibly performative, irks my first, middle, and last nerve. You think she was performative? At what point, Kevin Reynolds? Please go into further. But as everyone is getting acquainted with getting introduced to people on the ship and everything, they said they're going to have a good time. Everything is going to be great. All includes. I love it. So, Mrs. Best, I'm going to ask you the first question. How do you like the two shows merging into one? Because I don't think it's been done yet. So, how did you enjoy that?
I feel like I've seen a below deck merge with another show somewhere else. There's a couple different versions of it. I'm not really that into below deck. Um, Understand the concept. I've watched a little bit of it, but it's just not my thing. The merge did make sense for this cast. Definitely made sense. Just in terms of how they behave on that show and this show, it made sense. It was entertaining. So that's, I guess, my answer to that question. Did you ask me another question also?
I did not. So you're
Okay.
good. I know
I'm
you working. So then,
multitasking.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
You good. I know you working. It's just good to have you here. Kevin Reynolds says, it is obvious. Let's not forget Electra did sleep in the bed with Sean and Angie K. No, it is obvious. That's why I said I'm watching Angie right now. It's just borderline inappropriate. I'm not saying that
Uh-oh.
she went to the left completely. I'm just saying I'm watching her and she was a little touchy feely again on another vacation that I felt was inappropriate. It was just, to me, I kind of feel like she was going a little overboard with it. But the ladies go on the yacht. Angie K said this is her first time on the yacht. So Lisa was right. She has never been on one before. She's used to going to RVs. And I was laughing at that shade. I said, okay, Lisa, you got her on that one. Because she's never been on the yacht before. So Heather gives the room assignments to everybody. And they don't have enough rooms for everyone to have their own individual room. So the ladies will have to share. So Whitney and Heather share one room. Heather got the primary suite. And then the other ladies got adjacent rooms. So we have Mary and Angie in one room. We have Lisa and Meredith in another room. And then Brittany has to share a room with Bronwyn. And when Heather says you're going to have to share with Bronwyn, she was like, what? No, me and Bronwyn are going to kill each other. No, this is not right. And I felt like Brittany, I'm not saying she's two-faced, but I'm looking at her sideways because yeah, Bronwyn and her did not get along last season, and this season they're not on one accord either. But there were certain scenes in this particular episode that made me feel like, are you reaching for something? Are you looking to have an issue with Bronwyn? So I don't know. So the ladies go to the bar area and the I forgot her name already. Sorry, I'm doing this straight off of memory. But one of the hosts of the Below Deck crew says, okay, is it only going to be 6 of you? And they said, well, Bronwyn is still supposed to be coming. So Whitney asked, okay, so what happens if we start selling and Bronwyn's not here? Or she goes, oh, don't worry about that. I will get her here. You don't need to worry about that. I said, I know that's right. They got all kind of resources and connections. I love it. Now, see, that impressed me. That because I'm like, what do we do in the middle of the sea? And somebody got to come on this ride. Like, how are they supposed to get here? That lady said, I got it covered. Don't you worry about that. I said, that's what I love. I love hospitality like that, y'all. That's my kind of thing. So, as time goes on and everything, The ladies go and they start exploring the waters and everything, and Angie starts getting sick. And this is, her first time, mind you. So as Angie's getting sick, she's like, what's going on? Like, do people always get seasick? And one of the crew members says, yeah, it's very much so normal. So, just hang in there. And also, the captain has some kind of water contraption where he's going underwater. Heather is riding on the back and everything. So Heather and Brittany tuck off to the side. And Brittany was like, I'm into the captain, but it seems like you already have him claimed. And Heather's like, yeah, we had a little fuck around session and everything, and we know each other. We're really good friends. And Brittany's like, wait, y'all fucked around? And so Heather in her confessional said that she does not recall saying that. And she says, take that out. No, 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 take that out. And because we're all looking at Heather, I know every viewer watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City said, now, Heather, goddamn well you are lying. You know that man ain't bit more touched you than anything else. Now, come on now. Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, do you think that Heather Gay and this captain have fucked around?
Um, a little bit. I
Do
don't
you?
think when she says fucked around, I don't think they fucked, if I'm keeping it real. But I think that they've done intimate things, but I don't think it was nothing too serious. The reason I believe it, I don't think Heather would just lie about that. I know she lies, but I don't feel like she would just lie about this. But then I'm also kind of 50-50 because I also feel like she would, just because nobody sees her date anyone and she's weird about it. But she could have. I wouldn't put it past her. She seems like the type that, like the way Heather operates, she seems like the type that will do the whole hit it and quit it mess or be okay with the friends with benefits situation. Like some people are good with that. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. Hey,
Here's what I'm
Heather's
saying.
body look good. I'll give her that.
Yeah, no, Heather's body does look good, and I'm not gonna hate. However, it's not that I'm being naive because they're both grown adults, and everybody's attraction is different. I am not saying that it's impossible because nothing is impossible when it comes to sex. Everybody is pretty in the bed with their legs in the air. Shout out to Judge Lauren Lake. So I am not saying that by a long shot. What I am saying is I don't see it. That's what I am saying. I don't believe Heather. I don't. And the reason why I don't believe Heather is because there's too many inferences on the possibility that it's happened versus it actually happening and Heather not kissing and telling. That's all that I'm saying. So I don't believe it. And even Heather said take it out because she knew it was a lie. So that's why I'm like, I don't believe it. So I'm not being naive. I don't see it. So, anyways,
I think she said take that out, not because she's lying, but I think she said that because it's tacky and trifling as hell to kiss and tell. Like you didn't have to volunteer that you slept with the nigga, Heather. But she's so desperate to let us know that she can catch a man that she had to.
let's not forget Heather is the horny chick that seeks BBC. Was not surprised at the conversation between Heather
Oh,
and Brittany. Okay, here's and see, and that would actually prove my point. That would actually prove my point that of me not seeing it because I see Heather with a black man. I do. I'm not. Let's be real. I see Heather with a black man for sure because black Heather's the type that black men usually go for. Like Heather's usually that type. It usually looks very odd and different than what you would think if they're gonna go to the colorless. It's usually not the most of pretty of woman. It's usually the ones that look like Heather. I'm serious. Like y'all can Google. And y'all can Google certain black men and look at their wives, and you would think, oh, okay, okay. Not what I was expecting, but okay. I'm not saying Heather is ugly. I'm not
There's
saying
this
that at all.
colorless girl at our old high school named Michelle. I hope she don't watch these lives, but she dates explicitly black men, and she kind of got Heather's future features, if you get what I'm
Oh,
trying to
I know
say.
exactly who
So
you're talking
she's the
about.
perfect example, and you know I'm not lying
Yes, I know
of that.
exactly who
She
you're
dates
talking
black
about.
men. She does.
No, I know she does. Yes,
Yeah.
I have not seen her in years. Ooh, 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 ooh. But anyways, hi Shani, thank you for being with us here. All right, no, you okay? We just got. We're not even in the middle of this yet. Going to call Heather Meatloaf. I'm not calling Heather Meatloaf. Shout out to Color Me Pink. I am not doing that. I'm not. I'm just not going to do that because Heather does not look like that to me. Like she looked like somebody, but is not. She doesn't look like that to me. She just doesn't. But we'll pass on. We'll go ahead and go forward. But Bronwyn finally makes it to the trip, and she comes by a boat, and then everyone's laughing at her outfit because she has like literally like this dress with this blow up contraption at the waist and everything. And everyone's like, is that a costume or is that an outfit? Because we never know what you the one that wear hot dog couture and want us to kind of pick apart to determine what it is. So she goes, oh no, this is something that I threw together and everything. And once she sits down, you know, Heather said, I'm glad that you were able to make it. And she was like, I have to be honest, I almost didn't come. And that's when Whitney goes, well, what's going on? And Brown pretty much said, there's been a lot of things that have been said. And Meredith goes, is it true? Are other things true? And Brown says, no, it's not true. So let me give you the rundown of what it is. So when I got pregnant and had to leave BYU, I did not pay my last month's rent and I got evicted and I dealt with it at a much later time. And then the second part is that I was involved with, she tells the confessional, she didn't really tell the ladies this, but she says, I was involved with a company that had all these different situations going on, but because I was affiliated with the company, it bragged my name in there too. Now, I didn't get charged with anything. I was never convicted of anything. I was just there by association. So the government sealed the case because they didn't want this information to get leaked. So this information does not get leaked. The only thing that it falls under is a certain penal code that had identity theft, grand larceny, and all this kind of information. It's all under the same penal code. Now, as someone who worked in criminal justice, I do know that Bronwyn is right when it comes to the penal code. Now, because the case is sealed, I do not know what her involvement is, so I cannot say she's 100% telling the truth either. She is correct about the penal code, but she is not. What we don't know is what exactly happened. So, Mrs. Best, as Bronwyn is explaining this information to the ladies, do you think she's telling the truth about her life, or do you think that she's just feeding them the information so they won't bring it up anymore?
Um, so sorry. I do feel like Bronwyn is telling us the truth, but she's definitely not telling us all of the truth because she can't because the case is sealed. It sounds like not only is this case sealed, but it sounds like she's also not allowed to speak on it. She's made that very clear. I think once someone says something like that, move on from it. And the only thing relevant to discuss is who put the shit out there for people to inference about what it could have been in the first place. What she said does make sense. Eviction laws are different everywhere. The identity theft piece is the only piece that I'm still confused about, but the case is sealed. She's not talking about it. She stated that she cannot, and these women never accept that. And I'm genuinely sick of this across all of the Housewives franchises. If they're gonna do this, and try to make a huge storyline out of that. Like I understand that certain stuff has to be addressed on the show, but once you hear that somebody cannot talk about it, that's where you leave the audience to talk about it. But them on the cast, stop, move on. Let's figure out who did it. But I'm glad that Bronwyn did show up
I am
because
too
if she
because
didn't show up, Even though Whitney was like, she's damned if she doesn't, damned if she doesn't. If she didn't show up, I think it would have been worse because then you allow these women to make a dollar off of you. You allow yourself to be spoken about. You allow narratives about yourself to get out of hand. At least by showing up and being there, you can have some type of control. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but it's the best I got.
No, that's okay. That's completely fine. Let's see what you guys are saying in this comments, starting with Kevin Reynolds. Bronwyn is being her mother as she talks about the evasive case, see where her deceitfulness comes from. Interesting observation, Kevin Reynolds. I don't know if I see it that way, but interesting observation. I think she's a whistleblower. That's why it's sealed. Honestly, Shani, it's funny you say that because I also think so as well. But I can't, but it's all alleged. Like, we can't, because the case is sealed. We don't know her involvement or part. And she did say that she did cooperate. So that makes me feel like, yeah, there's something in there protecting her. So I also think that as well. Oh, y'all talking about Heather? What are y'all saying? Oh, Shani. But anyways, y'all. So we then move on because, well, not move on. We then go into the question being asked: do you think someone from the group leaked this information? And Brahma says she doesn't know. She doesn't know. And Lisa is chiming in. She goes, well, it wasn't us because we're a group that we don't share each other's businesses and we don't put things out there like that. So I know it wasn't us. And I'm looking at her like, Lisa, that's all y'all do is put information and gossip. That's the whole concept of this show. By you piping up and yelling so loud, you're putting a target on you, like all the women said. Nobody accused you, but you're over talking about, oh, it's not us, and you're making sure that it's known that it's not y'all. That's why I said Monica may have been right about y'all. I'm just saying. But Mary asked the question, we all want to know, do you think it's Lisa that did this? And Bronwyn said, I don't know for sure. It's just funny how when we were at Amy's house, all of these things were coming up. And then I get on a good foot with Lisa and we make up. And then all of a sudden, this information then comes out. It seems to be a routine that I'm seeing. So I definitely think that there could be a possibility of it. She's not accusing Lisa at this point. She's just saying there is a possibility because Lisa's been the only person that she's been on an outs with, and there are grounds for it to come out because Bronwyn is bringing up the lawsuits. So Lisa is had up to here. She goes, I did not do it. I did not do it. And I'm not going to allow you guys to put that out there. I did not do it. And I'm looking at Lisa like, no one's saying you did it. Like, what the heck is you talking about? So what y'all say? Lisa a few episodes ago you said you was gonna make up a website and pull it out of their business. She did say that. That is true. She did. She sure did say that. So come on, Lisa. This ain't looking too good. I think it's Meredith or Reality Von Tees. Well, Rose City, thank you for being here today. I totally appreciate you being here. Here's the thing. This is where because last week I said I could believe Meredith had a hand in it because Meredith season 2 had everybody investigated. Or season 1 had everybody investigated. And season 2, it got revealed on that season that she did it. And Meredith admitted it. She said, yeah, I had everybody investigated because it was only pointed that Jim was investigated. And Meredith said, no, everybody got investigated. So I can believe Meredith may have had a part. I think all of the ladies to some extent had a part in it, but I think because Lisa is such a scapegoat that she makes me think that she had more to do with it than all the rest of them. But I think Meredith played a part, or Meredith probably forwarded the information to her people. That's what I believe, because it could very much be, that situation. What do y'all saying? Cameron says she sure did forgot Lisa said that until you just mentioned it. Good catch. Yeah, she sure did say that. So yeah, that is a good catch, Shani. Thank you. I can that with Meredith. I think we all can see, like, because Meredith is very quiet and calculated. So I think a lot of things do point to her because it's always the quiet ones you got to watch out for. But yeah, I think it's Heather or Lisa. Heather's an interesting one. Heather is an interesting one because, hmm, you got me thinking, Shani, for a little bit. You got me thinking because what if, like, and this is all alleged. I don't need Heather Gay coming from me. I don't need Lisa Barlow coming. But what if they did do it together? And Heather's trying to pin this on Lisa. What would Lisa get out of? I mean, what would Heather get out of that? Like, that's kind of interesting. Heather enjoys all these big reveals. Like it's too corny. It is corny, but I'm trying to figure out if Heather did have a part in it, what would Heather benefit by throwing Lisa under the bus with? Is because she think that people would obviously believe that it's Lisa. And why would Lisa hold loyalty to Heather in that way if Heather had a part in it? I don't think Lisa's that loyal to Heather for Heather to have a part in it. That's why I'm kind of on the outs with that because I can't see, like, realistically, I can't see Heather having involvement with Lisa and Lisa not throwing her under the bus. I don't see that. Like, yeah, I don't see that at all. When the two of them were screaming at each other, no, you know everything. No, you know everything. Yeah, that said a lot to me. He who cast the first stone. Yeah, true. Heather set Lisa up to get ambushed by the ladies. That's what I don't know. Mrs. Best, I know you working, but we're gonna drag you in for this one little question. Do you think that Heather could have set up Lisa?
Yeah, I could see it. I don't trust
Mm,
Heather after the black eye thing. But prior to the black eye thing, there's just several things that Heather has been okay with and seem to suspect that came out from the whole reality Von Teese thing. I think that's why she was so charged up and amped to get Monica out of there. I do think Heather's one of those quietly sneaky people. That's why I also think Heather might have slept with the captain. I think that she's quietly sneaky, and I don't think that we see the true her, the authentic her, or what's really going on in her life. And I've always felt that way. And because of that, I won't put nothing past her. But I also feel like the way she set Lisa up would be in a way to where she just planted that seed in her ear, and then planting a seed with Lisa is all you need to do for Lisa to go and do what
mm,
Lisa does. So I do think Heather has some type of involvement, but she was probably manipulative enough to keep her hands clean, but they not clean. So but I do think Lisa did it. Because like I don't think Lisa's as confident, iconic, or such an independent thinker that she would be doing any of this like against anybody without help of some sort. And then I think back to the reality Von Teese thing, how Heather was connected to that also in some ways, but her anger allowed people to kind of forget about that. So I wouldn't put it past Heather either. Heather and Lisa are the ones who things always come back to for the most part in the group now that Jen Shaw is gone. They the ones who be doing shady
mm.
shit with the press. They're
That would
also
be
the ones that
crazy.
are have the most connections and are the most popular on the show to have the connection to leak it to the press. Because who the fuck cares about Whitney or the rest of these hoes? I'm sorry. you know? And
Mm,
Mary is too involved with God and her son to care.
true, true.
So,
Shani says, "Yeah, I think by talked about putting that stuff out there, but then Lisa might have went gun ho without Heather knowing right then and there she was gonna put it out there. That could be true too, because as I said, I don't see them two doing it together, and then her not throwing Heather under the bus with her. I don't see that. Like I see Lisa if it was one of those situations where they both did it and had, ample amount of time to get the dirt. I don't see Heather attacking Lisa like that, and then Lisa not rebuttal and said it was you too. I think Lisa would have threw her under the bus as well. That's why I have a hard time. Now I could believe Heather had a part. Absolutely, I could too. The same way I can think Meredith, which I'm gonna jump to that scene now that we there. I think it's way too much calculation where Lisa's hands may be too dirty to throw in Heather. But then at the same time, it's really weird that if Heather did have a part, you wouldn't throw her under the bus. It's just weird. So Heather and Whitney are talking, and talking about Lisa's blow up on at lunch and how she really is, showing that she's guilty. And Whitney says she does this to everybody. She's named everyone on the cast. We had something with Jen Shaw, Meredith, Mary, everybody Lisa has come for. And I had to think about that. I said, you know what, she's right. Because the only person that did not make sense to me in that moment, and that's because I had forgot about it, was Mary. I was like, well, what'd she do to Mary? But then I remembered the guy who had passed away that was a part of Mary's church who was claiming, him and Mary had something going on and that he mortgaged his house for Mary. I forgot Lisa was the one who put that out there because for some reason Whitney came to mind because Whitney knew the guy too. I thought it was Whitney, but then I had to remember for a second. Oh yeah, Lisa did put that out there and then threw it in Mary's face, as a catapult to Mary not getting along with the racist Asian lady. So I was like, oh, I forgot about that. So now I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I could kind of see Lisa having a hand in this. So Heather wants to bring this up at dinner, but she says she's only going to do it if Meredith agrees to it. Yeah, Cameron, thank you. That was the guy who passed away. That's what she did. So I was, because when I tell y'all I could account for every issue that Lisa has brought up with all the ladies, but Mary was the only one I was stunned with. I was like, well, what'd she do to Mary? I don't remember. And then it dawned on me, oh yeah. So yeah, thank you for bringing up his name. So it then comes, Meredith comes into the room, and this is where I feel like Heather fucked up at. Because as I told y'all last episode, Meredith is not going against Lisa. I think they both made a pact to have each other's back on this, regardless of how ugly it is, regardless of how it looks. I think they vowed to each other to have each other's backs on this season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Because when I tell you Meredith did not budge, she did not budge. Meredith was like, yeah, that could be true. And they were bringing these things to her. And Meredith was like, yeah, I could see that, but, we don't know. And then in Meredith's confessional, she was all like, why are we so mad at Lisa for potentially putting it out there when we're not mad at Bronwyn when she committed the crime? And I said, Meredith, the reason why it's such a problem, and we don't have a problem with Bronwyn, is because this happened before Bronwyn was known to us, and this is Bronwyn's business at the end of the day. It's not like Bronwyn did this shit while she was on the show, giving us ammunition and things to talk about. So I'm looking at Meredith with a side eye when she said that right there, because it was like, why are you so worried about what Bronwyn did in her past that has been sealed by the government, but you ain't mad at the person who found that information and decided to leak it? Because remember, the blogs only have what the penal code said. We don't have details. We don't have any case scripts. We don't have anything. All we know is that her name is attached to this. That's all we know. So what could she have? What do you know that she had done, Meredith? That's what I want to know. So that's what makes me side-eye Meredith, because it was like, okay, but as an attorney, if it's sealed by the government, we don't know anything. All we know is the penal code. And that's right. There are no mugshots. There's nothing else. And you guys, when this blog first came out, there was nothing. There was nothing. All it said is that her name is attached to this case. This is the penal code, and that's it. There was no other details. There was no company name. There was nothing. All the things that Bronwyn gave us, there was no trace of that in the blogs. Yeah. And that's why I'm surprised she said that, because you don't know unless you looked at a case sealed file what her involvement was. That's why I say it's something about Meredith. That's why I kind of agree with Rose City's comment. It's something about Meredith that makes her look suspect to me as well. And it's her comments like that, because we don't know anything. And as someone who practiced law, and I'm sure still has her bar law license, I'm sure you know how this works. So yeah. Meredith was saying nothing. While saying nothing, she can go, oh yeah, I'm kind of over Meredith. So Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, I'm going to include you in here because I know you're still here. You're just working. Do you think, how do I put it? Do you think that it was a good idea for Heather to involve Meredith in this conversation between her and Whitney to try to get her on her side? Do you think that was smart of Heather to do?
No, but Heather's not smart all the time. Um, Meredith's not to be trusted on this show. Anybody who's been an attorney, I don't, I'm not gonna fully trust you in how you move. Um, but yeah, the identity theft could have been.
I haven't seen someone do that in that's a 90s thing. That ain't even something that you could even do even in the mid 2000s. Like you know how
Even
many
so, I find it interesting that these women would rather talk about allegations and what's in the press with a new cast member than rally around him and be like, yeah, we all went through this when the show aired. Like when you're in the limelight, first season, you may get away with stuff, but by your second, third, and fourth, stuff's going to start coming out from the past. So they're arguing over stuff, and I'm looking at them like, this is exactly why it's becoming a problem and why people are thinking it's somebody in the group because ordinarily there would be some type of support, some type of empathy, and there's just nothing there. But I'm getting tired of these ladies arguing about the same thing now for 3 seasons in a row. Like, it's crazy. This whole press issue has been problematic with this show, especially this show to where it becomes a main storyline. Lisa's leaking this, or it could have been this person leaking this. Like, I'm getting tired of season to season of Salt Lake City being about some shit that's leaked with the press. I want them to do something else.
I want them to do something else because I feel like they're going with the whole frame of this is working and this is getting us viewers and this is bringing Salt Lake City to the top of the franchise entity. So we're going to keep going with this. We're going to keep going with what Monica started, which was let's leak things to the press or let's leak things to the blogs and then have the ladies fight over it. I think that they found a system that worked. And I think as viewers, it's no longer working for us, but it's still entertaining, and it's still fresh enough for it to be entertaining. I think that that's why they do it. So yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think intellectually we know that this is some bullshit, but it's working because the fans are entertained, and it is a big game of Clue. Who actually did it? You know. So overall, I'm gonna say like this dinner scene. First. I'm gonna get to Bronwyn and Whitney. They go into Bronwyn's room and they found that damn unicorn that has Jared's voice. And I'm like, Brittany, why do you have that? Why do you have that? That is so silly and childish and just so sick. Ugh, y'all. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to give Brittany the Marlowe effect and have her just be a friend of for 10 seasons before offering her first flute. They're trying to make her be the Marlo of Salt Lake City, and it's just not working. We are not seeing it for Brittany like that. Y'all can go on somewhere with that. So it's the dinner seat. It's the dinner time, and Angie is still sick. She is not coming to dinner, and Mary volunteered to have her dinner at the room so she can be there with Angie, so Angie wouldn't be alone. Um, y'all are crazy. Blues Clues. Y'all are so funny. So Heather makes a speech. She goes, we're sorry that Angie's not here. We're gonna miss her. We're gonna miss, Mary's comedy. And Brittany's like, I'm not gonna miss Mary's like comedy. I'm not gonna miss that. And everyone's all like, wait, why you have something against Mary? And Heather said, Brittany, the rule. We're not going to talk about people behind their back. They need to be on the table. Brittany said, I'm the only one in this group that says things to people's faces. And Brahma looked at her and was like, oh, really? You do? So are you going to tell Lisa and Meredith why you have a problem with them? And Brittany's face she was shaking her head like, no, Brahma, don't you do this to me right now. Don't do this to me right now. And they flash back to a scene where Bronwyn and Brittany were shopping, which I thought was weird as hell. You could tell this was something that production set up for them to go shopping because Bronwyn looked like she didn't even want to be there. But in there, she says that Brittany says her problem with Lisa is that Lisa tries to big sister her and tries to, tell her what to do and everything. And she says that she doesn't really need that from Lisa. She's good. She don't really need Lisa to be doing that. She said her problem with Meredith is that she can't have a conversation with Meredith without Meredith having a seizure, which honestly, I fucking laughed. I'm sorry. I know that's messed up to laugh like that, but I was hollering when she said that because Meredith do be spazzing. So Brahma was all like, forget it. I'm gonna say this. She said that she tired of you telling her what to do, trying to big sister her and stuff. She said she don't need that from you. And Meredith, she talked about you, talking about every time she have a conversation with you, you like to, throw tantrums and seizures and shit. And here come Meredith. That is not okay to be making fun of people who have seizures. I have not had a seizure, but you're not going to make fun of people. I've had a child that has seizures. And I'm looking at Meredith like, girl, your children go through everything. Your children have every damn thing under the sun, Meredith. Always your children have something going on. I'm about sick of her with that shit because nobody cares. Nobody cares. Um, Would you say, Cameron? On another note, did you not realize how beautiful a woman Brittany is until this episode? She looks way better with less makeup. Hate the excessive makeup on her. I agree. Now you can leave. So as Meredith is going through her tantrum, Brittany said, "Look, there it is, right there. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. She's having the seizure." Meredith had enough. And when she said seizure again, she picked up her cup of water and threw it on her. Because remember, I didn't mention this in the episode because it was so stupid. But now I'm kind of kicking myself in the foot. They had been throwing water on her all day because they said that if she mentions Jared's name, they're going to throw water on her. So she said Jared, Jared, Jared. So Meredith took the ring lead and actually threw the whole pitcher of water on her. So at this point, Meredith continues to throw water on her, and Brittany said, "Oh my God, how dare you do that?" And picks up her cup and tries to splash Meredith with water, but Meredith blocks it with her hand, and it goes all over Bromway. And the poor little Daisy, that's her name, Daisy just walked up and trying to give them their food, and she seeing them throw water on each other, and they were like, they're like, what in the ghetto hell is going on here? I didn't think the colorless act like that. Like, that's how she looked. That's how she was giving me. I said, poor Daisy. She don't know what to do. And Brittany is still carried on. She says, look, I can't even talk to Meredith. This is what she does and everything. And Meredith's like, I can't believe you. You're disgusting. I just can't believe this. And Brittany's like, well, why don't you disengage, Meredith? She goes, oh, gladly. I can disengage for the rest of your life. Trust me, I can disengage. And I'm looking at Meredith like, oh my God, this is so stupid. But I'm sorry, y'all. It was funny when Brittany said seizure. It did. She said, look, that's what she does. And when Meredith spazzed out, it was funny to me because she acts like this privileged queen that you can't touch. Mrs. Best, how did you feel the exchange between Brittany and Meredith went?
If anybody else on this cast acted like Meredith did, they would never hear the end of it. But if Mary acted the way that Meredith did, they would be petitioning for her to come off the show. When Jen Shaw acted the way Meredith does when she gets upset, people would act like she was the problem. Meredith's white privilege allows her to get away with behavior that's crazy. And she thinks because before she goes off, and this is her little battle tactic, I'm going to remind everyone that I have a reason to be upset and I'm standing up for this marginalized group of people who have seizures or the gay community or this and that. She always uses somebody else's real fight as a way to kind of excuse her shitty behavior, which I don't like. Even if your kids did have seizures, bitch, what's the big deal? Secondly, if you can't take a joke, please stop coming on reality TV because that's what it's about. Thirdly, why did you feel the need to pour water on that woman's head while you were upset? Like, I don't like the water game from the beginning. I'm glad that you brought that up. Don't ever make no motherfucking pact with me while we on vacation talking about you gonna pour water on my head if I say a fucking name, because we gonna be fighting in the ocean. We gonna be fighting on the yacht. We gonna be fighting on the plane. We gonna be fighting until the police come and take my motherfucking hands away from you. Don't you ever suggest to pour no fucking water on nobody for shits and giggles just because you don't want her to talk about her man. That's crazy. So I wish Brittany would have stood up for herself in that moment. Like, I don't like Brittany. and she gets on my nerves. But come on, Meredith looked like a fucking bully in that exchange. She just did. It really did irk me. And she knows better. And that's the part that makes it even worse. She knows better. So I'm sick of it. The exchange was stupid. Just because you don't like somebody, you can ignore her. You don't have to say shit to her, Meredith. You don't. Since you want to act like you better than everybody, people who know that they're better than somebody don't usually engage with them. They treat them like the peasant they are and ignore them. So I don't like that Meredith keeps doing shit like this and getting away with it. It's not cute, but that's pretty
That's
much
why
how
I
I
said,
feel.
yeah, she got the right one. I'm gonna say it like this: she definitely got the right one, because had it been somebody else, I wouldn't have been mad if they would have slapped the shit out of Meredith right on that boat. It'd be self defense at that point, because as my good friend Kevin Reynolds said,
That's
throwing water on,
assault.
yes, throwing water on someone is assault.
I
So
don't
the
care
fact,
how many degrees I got, how if you throw water on me, especially when you're yelling at me, bitch, I'm not letting go of your neck. You going in the ocean.
you know,
Like
because
what?
y'all know Brittany's not gonna do that though. Brittany, she has to say she got the right one. She had the right one, because I'm telling you, had it been somebody else, I don't know if Meredith. I mean, poor little Captain Jason, that little boat would have been tall toe up. Just saying. Um, Kevin Reynolds was that way. Anyways, y'all, but that was that whole interaction. So they calmed the table down, and this is where they decide to go ahead and address Lisa. So Heather mentions that her, Whitney, and Meredith had a conversation about Lisa being the one who potentially leaked Bronwyn's situation to the blogs. And Lisa said, "Oh my God, that is such a lie." And Meredith, you better have defended me while you were talking with them. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. And she began spazzing out. And they're trying to get Lisa to understand, like, you have tried to come after people. She goes, "That is a lie. And I'm not going to let you do that, Heather. And if you believe that, Heather, then we're no longer friends." And Heather's like, "I'm not accusing you. I'm just bringing it to you. And you have done this before." And Heather goes off. And Lisa gets up from the table because Whitney comes over. She goes, "No, you're not going to do this. You're not going to get up off the table, Whitney." And Lisa goes over to Heather and puts her hands at Heather's face and says, "Look, it's not me." And I'm looking at Heather like, "You better than me." Because first of all, why are you touching me? That's number one. I don't give a fuck how mad you are. Don't grab my face like that. Like, don't be doing all that. That was crazy as hell. And then the fact that she's yelling, talking about, "Oh, you guys are not my friends, and I can't believe you guys would accuse me. I did not do this." And Lisa is just spazzing. Lisa is going crazy, crying, and Heather is and one point trying to say, "I'm not accusing you of this. I'm just letting you know that all things point to you." But Lisa's like, "Get away from me. I don't want nothing to do with you." And she calls John. She goes, "John, I cannot believe all of these people. They're accusing me of doing this, and it's just wrong." And Lisa said, "Heather, get away from me." And she goes down to the bottom of the boat and sits on the edge of a little like blow up contraption. Heather walks off and she goes, "I just can't do this anymore. Like, I just can't." And she goes to Lisa, not Lisa, to Mary and Angie, and she tells them, like, "I had to do it, you guys." And Mary said, "Good, because you know that Lisa's responsible for this, Heather. You know, because Heather at this point is second guessing herself. Heather's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I love her, but I don't, I had to call her out." And Mary's like, "Good, no, I'm glad you do that. I'm glad you did that." And even Angie was like, "Look, she was gonna get exposed one way or another. So, hey, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right?" So Heather walks out, and as she's wanting to find Lisa. Brittany goes over to Lisa. She goes, "Hey, are you okay?" Lisa said, "Don't you touch me. I don't want you anywhere near me. I want you to get away from me. Don't you touch me." And she goes, "John, I want you to beat me. I'm gonna go stay at a hotel. I want you to pick me up, John. You're gonna have to pick me up." And she goes, "Brittany, get away from me." So Brittany and Heather meet in the hallway. She goes, "Hey, have you seen Lisa?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'll take you exactly where she is," because she's out there screaming and it's crazy. And all you see is Lisa putting her feet in the water, just crying about, "John, I want you to come and get me. John, I can't believe they're accusing me of this. I've done nothing to these women. They're always accusing me." And I'm just looking at her like, "Girl." It ain't that damn serious. If you didn't do nothing, what you crying for? If you didn't do, this is what I don't get. I don't understand the defense mechanism of crying, throwing tantrums, like running out the room, crying, calling people on the phone. If you really did not do anything, why does that bother you that they're accusing you of doing it or saying that you possibly could have had a hand in it? If you didn't do anything, why you just can't sit there and just be like, I ain't do it? I don't care what you say. I didn't do it. Every time they would bring up something, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Simple. It's very simple, y'all. It's very look. All of what Lisa was doing was a guilty deflection. All of what she was doing was a guilty deflection because to me, someone who is accused of doing something would not have a response to immediately begin throwing tantrums, crying, trying to reason with people to believe that they didn't do it. It's like if you didn't do it, you have nothing to be defending. It's very simple, y'all. It's very simple. So, yeah, I am just. It was crazy. So, Mrs. Best, Lisa's tantrum. How do you feel about Lisa throwing that tantrum? Were you surprised that she did it? Are you surprised that this is her reaction to people accusing her of maybe leaking Bronwyn's court cases?
Um, that's what Lisa does. She do some fucked up shit that she run and cry. Oh my god, I'm white and I'm crying. They've done something to me. I'm accountable. Girl, bye. I know
Right.
John hate to see her leave for a trip because he know he gonna get blown up at weird hours of the night. There's probably a time change. I mean, she probably calling him at God knows what time. He's happy because the bitch is gone out the house, and now she's calling him in tears, talk about come get me. And obviously, he wasn't agreeing because she had to say come get me a couple of times.
Right.
So
Because no way
nobody
he
feels
can.
sorry for Lisa when you constantly hollering. Eventually people learn to tune you out. We all sick of it. Lisa does shady stuff. You come across as shallow. You want to paint yourself as the richest, the baddest, the most popular, the best, the best Mormon, all these crazy things, and now it's all backfiring. People not gonna trust you when you got seven attorneys and you're the one person. You're the common denominator, Lisa. Stuff has been coming out about people in this cast season after season. And the only people we could never really eliminate from doing stuff is Lisa, Heather, and Meredith. So I don't feel sorry for them when they're held accountable. I just don't. She could cry. I was looking at the fish in the water, like, oh, they're so pretty. And I'd be cracking up at nature because this bitch is having a meltdown, and the fish just looking like we can't wait to nibble at her toe or get some fish food thrown overboard. They don't care. Let's talk about the fish. God bless nature. That's more
Right.
important than Lisa's meltdown. Nobody cared that lady always crying.
Because Lisa acts like John could just jump in the defender, struggle at parallel parking to come pick her up.
Right. It's gonna take him about 30 minutes to get in that spot.
Right. Like, and then he gonna miss the flight.
I can't.
Like, you want him to come all that way to come and get you? Like, Lisa, cut this out. Like, realistically, if you didn't do it and you ain't got nothing to hide, then you could just simply say, I just didn't do it.
Mm,
Anyways, pass me, Meredith, pass me that salt. Because that's exactly what I would have did. Like, if they accuse me, James, you did this, or you know you did it. Oh, I didn't do it. They Meredith, pass me that salt.
yeah, Lisa's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
iconic
yeah.
at all. I actually think I'm starting to think she's not built for this because she's just gonna be one of those housewives that plays keep up with the Joneses the whole time, and then any time that she's exposed, she's gonna cry. So it's like, okay, if this is what you're gonna do, Lisa, you could go.
hmm Yeah, Shady said those ladies screaming at the top of their lungs at each other while the chef is trying to introduce himself and them trying to give them dessert was crazy. I wouldn't have gave it to them. I'd be like, okay, well, y'all must not want this because I'm not finna do all this.
James said everybody could fucking starve. I'm gone.
Okay, for real. I'm not finna listen to me. When stuff is hostile like that and there's a whole bunch of white women around the table, the last thing the black man is about to do is serve them. I am about to exit stage left when they have calmed down and collected themselves. Then that's when I'm going to come and say, here is your dish. I'm not finna play with them like that because I don't need y'all to accuse me of nothing when y'all get to tussling and shit. I don't need all that. I'm just sorry. I'm not that person.
Jesus.
I'm just not that person. Once Mary said, "Yep, it was Lisa," put it out there. I believe it was Lisa. Mary don't be lying. And that's one thing I will give Mary. Mary don't be lying, y'all. When Mary gets some shit and she says what it is, it's usually it pans out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
every
why I'm like,
time.
yeah. So yes, when the camera pulled back on Lisa sitting at the edge of that dock, it really looked pretty. That water with the fish all on it did. It was a pretty scenery. Like I want to experience that. I really do. But Lisa made it just terrible. Where the below deck crew, they was like, I can't wait to see their point of view of this shit because there's going to be an episode of Below Deck where they were hosting the Salt Lake City Wives. That's what Mary said. So I can't wait to see their point of view. I mean, we got some of it, but I need to see everything because they were complaining about bringing the bags up. The chef was like, I probably ain't gonna get no tips. So I'm finna steal all their jewelry. I said, now that's a little trifling. Now wait a minute. Now you're doing too much now. We was with you
The
up until
thing is, like, I am not feeling like I want to watch Below Deck after seeing this merge episode. And the usually merge episodes make you want to watch the other show. I was just like, I don't really want to watch that. And they
I
didn't make me want to tip anybody. And I will be on a catamaran and a yacht in Mexico next month. And they got me thinking, do I need to tip these motherfuckers? Because if you complaining, shit.
okay. Like damn, like not stealing their jewelry. What the fuck? The hell? Don't even be joking like that because that's nothing to joke about. Shani said, need to be more like Stacy on Potomac. When it comes to your responses, Lisa, you gotta be more chill. Let me tell you, Stacy has mastered like like that whole innocent look and yeah, I didn't do it. No, I didn't say that. I've never seen it. No, it's never happened. I know nothing of that. And it's like it's pulling teeth because you don't know and you don't have any proof of anything. And so it's like that's why I said I don't really think Stacey be lying like that. I really don't. But her responses to them makes it so funny to me. It's like, well, hell, what can we say? I was cracking up on one deck handbill telling the rest of the crew when I had that was like, well, then leave, bitch. Oh. Yeah, John was trying to calm her ass down to stay. Him and his youngest son need a break from her. That wasn't what John. John was just listening. Like he may have said one or two things I heard his voice with, but John don't be. John probably put that phone on mute and put Lisa down on the counter, check on her in about a minute to see if she's still talking, and she probably still is, and then put the phone back on the counter and just do what he be doing. That's what I feel like John be doing when Lisa be on the phone yelling about these women. I feel like John just put it on mute and just put her down, and she'll still be talking for about a half hour because Lisa gives me that. Lisa gives me that. I'm pretty sure he has tactics that if the cameras were panning on him, we would see them. Shani said Lisa does wind up saying for the trip, she's not going home. No, we know she's not going home. Lisa need all her coin. Lisa need all her coin that she gonna get because Lisa is giving me, and I'm gonna say allegedly, Lisa's giving me she's surviving because of the show. Like I feel like the Real Housewives money is like her real
Ain't
money right
nobody buying that liquor. It sounds like Lisa and John probably came into a good amount of money. They probably invested in a couple of things, and I don't think all of those things have panned out. So I heavily agree with that. She be trying to flaunt like she got it.
now.
We know she ain't got shit.
Yeah, and I feel like they're surviving because of the show. I really do. It gives that way. It just does, y'all. I'm not trying to be funny. It just gives that they're surviving because of the show, and they're able to cover everything in their expenses because of Lisa's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She ain't the first one. She's not the first one that does this, so that's why I said it's not a surprise to me. Um, Even the Q captain, who some of them was trying to get at, couldn't even calm their asses down. That's because that man is getting paid in so many different ways. First, having the Bravo check, and then from what I understand, they get a 50% discount. So this man is trying to make his money and go to sleep. He ain't trying to entertain them. First of all, it was the damn luggage. Then it was them screaming at the top of their lungs. The first night, that crew had enough of them already. Man, when I tell you that crew, they were shady as hell. That crew was shady. Like I lived for some of that shade. I live for the cucumbers. I didn't really talk about the cucumber scene because it was like, okay, unless you expose whose luggage that was that you was unpacking, I don't care. But it was fun. They were just shady as hell. Shani said, why she got to bring all that damn tequila everywhere she go? Because, Lisa trying to get it in people's store. And I'm sorry. Like Rose said, I have never seen Vita tequila at any liquor store. So if you
I
have
saw
a
it once on clearance in a Total Wine.
I was just gonna say that.
That's it. Never saw it again.
So Rose City, if you have a Total Wine, they do have it there, and I think Bevmo has it as well. Someone was telling me that Bevmo carries it too. I have one right down the street. I have it. When me and Mrs. Best will probably sneak up in there to see if we see it, and we'll take a picture and put it on our next live for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City if we see it. Because I
Devno in
invite
California don't got it. So maybe Arizona will.
Arizona always backwards, so yeah, they probably have it. I think it was Heather with that damn cucumber. Oh, not Heather. According to Todd, it's mediocre tequila. That lives rent free in my head. When he was telling his friends, "Oh yeah, that's Lisa and John. They got a little mediocre tequila company." I I holler every time I think about that because everyone says it's nasty. Everyone who's like reviews it, they say it is not good, and I'm just like, mm-mm-mm. Um, I've seen it in Miami a few times. I've seen it like when I lived in Florida, y'all. I have seen it at certain clubs in Miami. I never ordered it because I really didn't put two and two together until like literally my last month in Miami. I said, Vita Tequila, I've seen it in Miami. I always say, give me Tito's because that's what most of the bars in Miami give you when you order drinks like that. Like I always get a Blue Long Island. So that's what they give me is Tito's. But I'm not finna mess up my Vita Tequila. I'm not finna mess with that. James, is that tequila in your area? I don't know, but I will find out. To be shady, I will go to a couple of my Total Wine and Moors and my Bev Modes to see if I can find Vita Tequila, and then I'll take a picture of it and show you because I'm not buying that shit. When I went on Lisa's website, that shit was way too overpriced for some damn tequila. I'm sorry. Unless they got little sample bottles, little 99-cent ones, I'll buy that. And I'll come up here and I'll come on live and drink and say, this is Lisa's Vita Tequila. It's in a little bottle. I don't know. Does she make little 99-cent bottles of her tequila? I don't think she does, but we'll see.
I mean,
But
at
no,
this
I
point, she need to because crackheads may actually get her a check. I'm just saying, they be buying them little 99-cent bottles.
they sure do. Yes, they sure do. If it is, you should get a small bottle when Twin comes over, and then y'all could come online and tell us what you think of it. Mrs. Best, do you want us to do that?
I'm not the biggest drinker, but I will taste it. I'll put my husband on live. He's a drinker. Like he's into like how it's made and the agave plant and all of that. So I'll let him do
Let me
that.
see it. Let me see if this shit is here because I don't want to be wasting all that gas if I can't find that shit. Let me see. Vita Tequila. Vita Tequila. Yeah, Total Wine has it for $39.99 right now. Is it just Vita Tequila? Because I'm seeing Dulce Vita, or is that somebody else?
That's another brand.
Oh, Pure Vita. Oh, I'm saying Dulce Vita. Oh, never mind, y'all. I lied. Never mind. There's Vita Anejo. That don't even look like Lisa's. Okay. Yeah, I don't see it, but I'll Google more of it. And if I do find it, I will. Oh shit, I just dropped my phone. If I do find it, y'all, I will give my opinion on Lisa's tequila and see what I see about it. Every reviewer that who has drunk her alcohol that I have seen said it is nasty. So I don't know. I'm just saying what people have said out there, and I'm gonna say this is allegedly. I'm not. Don't come after me, Lisa, for your business. I'm just saying it's alleged that a lot of people ain't feeling it. So even some of your cast members have said it. It's not the best. So don't come after me. Go after them. I'm gonna say allegedly, but yeah, if I find it, I will give my honest opinion. I will. Every time I hear Vita, I think of Mercedes from Shaws of Sunset. I have never seen that show. I've never seen Shaws of Sunset. So I wouldn't even know what that show. I know what it
It was
is.
good. It was a good show.
Really?
I wish they bring it back.
Okay, well, I've heard of it and I know what it is. I just never seen it personally. But yeah, but that was it, y'all. That was Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We will be live tonight on Mrs. Best channel for Real Housewives Wife Swap. Remember, guys, she's covering that on her channel. I won't be covering it on mine. Last night was Melissa Gorga's episode. We will have, at least I will have, some strong opinions about Melissa's episode. So you guys are definitely not wanting to miss this. Go to Mrs. Best channel. Please subscribe. Her information is in the link description box. And I hope to see everybody there because we need to go in for someone that says she needed security on these sweet little, color folks that she was with. I'm not letting her live that down, by the way. So just to give y'all a small glimpse of how I'm going to feel about her when I recap her episode. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. I totally appreciate you. And I'll see you guys tonight. Bye-bye now.